And welcome everybody to another episode of Game Set Live. Another Wednesday, another show, another week. More gaming drama. Jeez, we're just gonna rename this Game Set Drama because that's what's happening. But anyway, shout out to Matthew in the chat, of course. My son, who's sitting behind me, had to have an emergency appendectomy yesterday, and he is healing up in a lot of pain. Yeah, 9-year-old has an appendix removed. Surgeon says it's getting more and more like that these days. Younger children are sooner than later on gallbladders and appendixes. But yeah, shock to us. Well, we got a great show lined up for you. Thimber in the chat. I see you, Thimber. Our lone non-show moderator holding down them streets. Got a great guest for you tonight, Mr. HamSolo. Going to start off with you, sir. How are you doing? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what have you been playing?
Man, thanks for having me here. Just been kicking back, playing a ton of different games. Most recently, Avatar, Call of Duty, Vampire Survivors, Halls of Torment, NBA 2K24. I mean, I can keep going, but I'm just not. Wow. I'm not going to do that.
You spread yourself out pretty thin. I usually get on a kick and just go with it.
Yeah, it's just like, when I have all these different services and then on top of that I have all these games that are purchased, it just kind of depends on, how I feel when I wake up. I feel when I get done, taking care of the fam and doing stuff. Like, it's just, how do I feel this hour compared to earlier that day? Sometimes it'll be Halo, sometimes it'll be basketball, sometimes single player game, sometimes not. So I don't know. I'm a man of many flavors.
Yeah, there you go. In the background here, got gameplay from RoboCop Rogue City, which was shown in Digital Foundry's list of Unreal Engine 5 games so far. Where are we? And this game uses every bit of Unreal Engine 5, and it actually does not kill the ray tracing when you go to performance mode. It just lowers the resolution a little bit. So this is running at 60 frames a second with global illumination ray tracing. It's pretty neat. Looks great. I encourage anybody to check it out if you're a fan of any of the movies. It really does harken back to that. It plays a lot of fanfare and it's really cool. Original voice actors. It's neat. Check it out. Mr. Spider-Mac, sir, how are you doing? I know a little bit about that. Not too good. What have you been playing? Yeah. And, what's going on, brother?
Nothing. Just been my usual Fortnite and 2K-ness here the last couple days. I've just been, and Call of Duty. I've been grinding the shit out of those freaking live service games. I don't know what the hell that's all I've done. I've not even touched any single player game. I did touch Cocoon. I finally got to start that up the other day for about an hour. I don't know. That game's pretty unique, man. It's definitely a good puzzle game that I like, a little different. And that's really about it, just thing. And then some shit show happened on Sunday with my personal life, but that's getting solved after a couple days worth of headaches. But outside of that, I've been pretty good. So.
Oh, nice. Sorry to hear about the them damn hackers, man. They just can't stick to developers. They have to go after the gamers. That sucks.
I mean, luckily they only got they only took $100 off my Best Buy card, like my Best Buy credit card that I have. They didn't get to my bank card because I canceled my bank card like instantly, and luckily they didn't take my Xbox account. I have, like I said, don't know how they did it. I mean, whoever did it was a true douchebag or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. It just is what it is, and it's luckily I have everything fixed. And the only thing right now that I lost is my other Discord account as of right now. That, and then my Call of Duty account. But the thing about my Call of Duty account is it's linked to my Xbox tag, but the email address is like obsolete. Like you cannot change the email address. So I don't really need to worry about it because I have, my Xbox tag connected to it, so I don't have to worry about it. But that's the only thing that sucks. Then two things. But the Discord, you see, I already made another one. Discord's meaningless. But the Call of Duty thing kind of sucks because I can't even unlink my Xbox tag because of that. So I'm kind of stuck with what if somebody ever takes my Xbox, my Call of Duty tag somehow, I'm screwed with no Call of Duty. So yep.
Vinny, this doesn't have anything to do with what the account you were trying to sell me the other day, did it?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Same account.
Does it have a big Does it have a big wiener on the picture of it? I was like,
Oh, yeah.
No, on the contrary, it was a space.
If it does, that's definitely Mac.
It's zoomed in. Sorry, it was zoomed in. Sorry.
I looked Photoshop.
Oh man. And to remind everybody, if the YouTube route is not your way, the show is uploaded the next day onto Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and Pocket Cast. Basically anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts. And with that, Vinny, sir, how you doing? What are you playing?
There's
Tell us about those Twitter fights.
nothing going on there really.
Oh, well, that's good. That's
It's preaching the gospel of truth.
Truth.
But not too bad. Just got done moving. We still have a few small stuff from our old apartment that we still gotta get. But overall, we moved all the big stuff, all the gaming setups. We got like new TVs, new furniture for our new place, and gaming wise, I've just been playing Baldur's Gate, man. I'm addicted. I'm officially addicted.
Oh gosh. I started playing it. I started. I created a character, and yeah, I don't know why they let you go so far as to pick your different types of genitalia. I mean, is there any part in the game where that's actually going to be relevant? But
Which one did you get?
Oh yeah, I went for the circumcised over the non-circumcised.
The big old
What?
dong.
Oh yeah,
What?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm really scared right now. What
Oh.
the fuck's going? I just entered the podcast, and the first thing that I listen you guys talking to is about being circumcised. Seriously?
Well, yeah. Vinny was talking about he's officially addicted to Baldur's Gate 3, and then I was going on about the character creator and how you can go in depth and whether or not that actually has any relevance during gameplay. Yeah.
Oh yes, it does. People make fun of you if you have the smaller one.
Really? Ooh. All right. Yeah, but I haven't gotten that far in Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't even left the ship yet that you're in the beginning.
I mean, first of all, I just want to apologize to the guests. HamSolo, glad to see you. Always a pleasure. Like, glad to meet you. But like, what the fuck were you guys talking to the point where the first thing that I listen is
Yeah.
Talking
Well,
about family dinner.
that's right.
okay.
You family dinner. You went from one sausage to another.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like, no. The worst part is it was meatballs. Like, goddamn.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. We just provided you with the complete package, sir. On that note. Yeah. Last panelist in for the night, Mr. Fabio Almarin, the Brazilian gangster. How's the weather down there, and what have you been playing, sir?
How are you doing, everyone? Always a pleasure. Thanks so much, Bob. Yeah, I'm doing great. Here in Brazil is hot as hell. Jesus Christ, I fucking hate summer here.
Is it your summer
Oh, yeah.
or winter? Oh, it's your summer.
No, it is summer. Sally, I really wish I had winter during the Christmas season. I really wish that, but no. It is goddamn summer, and it is horrible.
You gotta
But
tell your
yeah,
government to fix that.
other than that, what I've been playing, well, I played some Halo 3 with my buddies from the XPN network. I also played as well some Madden 24. Yes, I'm back at playing Madden because I wanted to play the new game. I managed to get a really good deal out of it. And yeah, I'm playing Madden. My good Vikings, which it's still strange to play the game without Kirk Cousins, but yeah, okay. I may get used to it someday. Other than that, some Diablo, and of course some Halo Infinite.
Well, well, it doesn't surprise me that you went to play some Madden because, yeah, it's a video game. You can actually do something with the Vikings, which they can't do for themselves in real life. Yeah, you see,
Disrespect.
Said the Cleveland Browns fan.
who are locked into the playoffs. Thank you. It feels good to
And
actually
how,
be able to talk about
uh,
talk
and let me
down
and
on
let me
other
and let me
teams.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. How far do you think Joe Flacco is gonna take you there?
Well, he's already got a Super Bowl under his belt. I mean, he can return to
Uh huh.
form. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You sure about that? Carson Wentz as well, but what about that? Why did you guys sign him?
All right. All right. This is a gaming podcast, not a sports
I
podcast. I know.
I heard Nick Foles is available as well.
We're happy with Flacco. Thank you. Let's move on.
Good point.
Oh man. So, yeah, enjoy the gameplay. Everybody check out Rogue City. It's actually not even a full price game. I think this is $49.95. Yeah, it's well worth it. It's an awesome game. But yeah, it's Timmy V2, Matthew. Okay, got it. So,
Meh.
are we witnessing Sony becoming Sega? That yeah, they got lawsuits against them right now, and if you they're being sued. It's a class action lawsuit, and I mean we're basically talking about what a total more than they've spent on acquisitions in the last 5 years. They could be sued for, and Jim Ryan cashing out all his stock options. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I seen some people standing outside Sony headquarters in this game that you see on screen, huddled around a burning barrel, trying to keep warm because they can't keep the heat going inside the building because of all the lawsuits. And
Aw.
I know it's rough. It's rough. It's gonna be rough over there. But hey, we got we got fanboys on social media refusing to see the writing on the wall and come over to Team Green. Yeah, Mac, sir,
Hmm.
what do you got to say about that, Mac? Huh? Hello, Mac, you there?
Hello.
No, Mac. Mac walked away.
Yeah, he does give up.
Yeah, fuck you, Mac.
We found the hacker in the streets.
Well, there's
Throwing
two
hands right
possible.
now.
Either he doesn't want to talk about that, or he had a heart attack and he died.
No. I doubt that happened. But Ham, our esteemed guest, I would love to know what you think is going on at Sony headquarters right now.
They're falling short. they're just having like earlier this year, like I don't know, just a few months ago, I didn't think it was the worst year that Sony's ever had, but it kind of started to look a little funny when Naughty Dog was, releasing some of their developers and whatnot. They laid off some people, and I was like, wait, you're laying off some people, but you haven't put out factions yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, all right, this might be a really bad year for Sony. And then, of course, soon after that, factions is canceled. The best, the best game to never release factions.
Right.
It was the best game you've ever played. It
Right.
It would have cured cancer. Solve world hunger.
So they canceled that, and I was like, "Yo, like that's a big deal." And then right after, not even a whole week later, Insomniac gets hacked, and I'm just like, man, if that's like the exclamation mark on like worst like year, in my opinion. Like you already went through the whole year. We already knew what game you had, which was Spider-Man. We were hyped for it, but we weren't surprised by it. Lackluster start with Forspoken, and you know what happened with that studio and whatnot for Square Enix. That showcase was just abysmal. And then the state of play
terrible.
soon after it was even worse. Or actually, I don't know if it was even worse.
No, you gotta understand. There's gonna be a secret second one. You need to understand that. Soon enough, they will be announcing it.
It's gonna be next
Well,
week.
Well, I tell you what. We got that. We got that this week with this leak. And it's terrible to say because, you know, too bad for Insomniac, yada yada. But yo, this leak was better than any of their showcases
Right?
this year.
Had way more content. Yeah, there we go.
Which is insane to say because, you know, that's just wild. And it like because it was like, you know, a data breach and a hack or, you know, ransomware, whatever, right? But all in all, you kind of look at this and then you see the news, you know, and I don't know how much all of this is 100% like fact or true or from the actual leak itself, but I'm just going to go on ahead and just believe it until it gets proven wrong, right? I'm going to say on this side that guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
Because I look at this stuff and it's just really shocking. Like going from like some of the ABK feelings that they were having to the sales of their games on PC and why I personally think they need to start doing this stuff day and date on PC. I don't know. It just does not look good. Like just looking at them and for their future to I just don't. We still all don't really know what to expect other than, you know, what just leaked out from this. And there's still a ton of other studios over at Sony as well. So there's still a little bit to, you know, have confidence in, but they didn't really set the tone very well. And then the slam dunk that kind of let you know that things aren't trending great is Mr. James Ryan selling his stocks.
James.
Mr. James Ryan.
Mr.
Yeah.
Motherfucking Ryan.
Mr. Jimothy Ryan selling his stocks on the 15th, and then
Not
these
just some of
hacks.
them too. All
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, just dumped him.
You
Just
mean-
like he seemed like he was like releasing himself from prison.
You mean to tell me that Mr. Jason Ryan has been fucking up?
Little
Jason.
bit. Little bit. Oh,
No, any other names that we can make with his, we are going to be doing here.
I like Jester Ryan. Jester Ryan's good.
Jester is interesting.
But yeah,
So Shasta,
it doesn't. I've not seen I haven't seen turmoil at Sony since they decided to go with the Cell processor and the issues they were having with the PS3, and development was so difficult. I haven't. Wow. Which is kind of odd because we've been dealing with turmoil at Xbox since 2013. You know that it was horrible. Oh, this is how you share games. Oh shit, they got us. But It's just crazy. And I remember because I'm a triple OG gamer, and I remember the last time we seen things like this and heard rumblings like this. We saw the fall of Sega, and Sega became just a publisher of their own games, and I don't know.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
I see what you're saying, but I feel like that's kind of overboard because Sega was having issues for a couple generations.
And like
It wasn't just one generation. It was like okay, we're transitioning from the Genesis dash Mega Drive, and now we have a CD. Oh, now we have a 32X. Oh, wait, we meant to do the Saturn. Oh crap. And then they kind of just blew their load with the Dreamcast. And it was over.
Yeah.
So so it was just like generations compared to this is the PS5, and it's just very interesting to see that, what are you doing to mitigate this problem? We don't have an answer to that yet. And it seems like they don't even know.
Well, yeah, I tell you why they don't know, because they haven't had to. They're not really equipped to deal with problems, because for over a decade, Sony hasn't had problems. They were basically handed the golden door by Xbox in 2013. We know that at the time, 360 was favored, and the PS3 was okay. We're gonna get out of this slump. We're gonna go back to an x86 platform, and since then, things have been great. And maybe the people that they just forgot to deal with the problems, and now they're getting hit with a lot of problems at once. And the company their gaming division, they're reeling with leaks, they're reeling with lawsuits. I mean, come on, we're talking about almost $7 billion for overcharging people on their store.
It's just not one country; it's multiple countries.
I
too.
mean,
Yeah, but it's multiple
when-
countries, but nobody wants to talk about anything outside of the tribunal in the UK. If you do a search on lawsuits against Sony, the only thing they bring up is the CMA and everything going on in Britain. That's it.
I mean, when it comes to the lawsuit itself, I cannot say anything about it. But when it comes to taking into consideration all the mistakes that Sony has been doing and all the steps that we can clearly see that where have they gone wrong, I would say that the main issue was with Jim Ryan, not necessarily Jim Ryan trying to make Sony produce live service games, because this is where the market is heading. That's a fact. Like, to make high budget single player games is not sustainable. Even Sean Layden himself, the CEO of Sony PlayStation during the head of PlayStation during the PlayStation 3 part of the PlayStation 4 era as well, he said it's not sustainable to spend so much money to just make one game that is going to be single player and that is not gonna have that many, like, it's not gonna be played on the long term and have that many active users. The problem is not that Sony was trying to do live service games, in my opinion. The mistake that Sony has been doing was the fact that Jim Ryan, instead of like, we are going to buy smaller studios which are focused and know what they are doing when it comes to live service games, they decided to, you know what, Naughty Dog, you're going to be doing this. Insomniac, you're going to be doing that. And that's it. These studios don't care about live service games. These studios have no expertise in live studios games. And you decided to just overpay for a big studio, but that only has one IP in Bungie. Which, sure, They know what they are doing when it comes to live service games, but would you actually consider that only Bungie would be able to oversee every single live service project that PlayStation was doing and say, yeah, that's good? No, we saw that with factions. Like Bungie themselves said, "Oh my God, this is horrible. just don't make that. Do something else for the love of God." And the result we are getting is this: we had a lot of we saw conflict with Naughty Dog because of this direction that we've been having. We saw issues happening with Bungie, and the results are just coming in because instead of like going with smaller studios and know what they're doing in terms of live service games, they decided to know, let's grab a big fish which is going to now oversee every single other live service project that we have in studios that are not known for doing something like that. It's different from what Xbox did, where they decided to like, okay, let's buy some small studios. Here's Double Fine Production, here's In Exile, here's Obsidian, here's Undead Labs, here's Compulsion Games. Like we're talking about, sure, Obsidian was well known, of course, but it is a smaller studio.
I was thinking more as not really overseeing the games, but at least to give them a rock solid template on how to do it and do it right.
But like, isn't that? But like, wouldn't that be considered somehow some sort like I'm really curious about that. Wouldn't that be considered somehow some sort of overseeing the project because it's not necessarily a collab. It's not a Factions was not a Bungie and Naughty Dog production. It was just Naughty Dog's. It was just like Naughty Dog was doing all the work, and then okay, Bungie, tell us what do you think about this? Yeah, that's shit. Maybe you will try something else. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board.
But I do. So I think that Sony and Microsoft's acquisition of developers are looked at totally different. Because when Xbox, when they acquire a developer, they don't rule with an iron fist, which is it can be a bad thing, but can also be a great thing, because without ruling with an iron fist, you get passion projects that turn out to be amazing games. We got Grounded, which was a passion project, and it's an awesome game. We've got Hi-Fi Rush, which was a passion project. A Shadow Drop, amazing game, won awards. But without the double-edged sword aspect of running a company like that with multiple developers, is that you get games like Halo Infinite that release not complete. All parts are not there. You get delays.
Redfall.
You get Redfall, which, I do believe that the concept was there and it looked good. It sounded good. And they said, we're going to go with this. And they did it not really. Their heart wasn't in it like it is with the Dishonored series. So I don't know. I think they need to lighten up on the reins a little bit, because I'm sure that Insomniac would like to work on something besides Spider-Man. I don't know. Vinny, do me a favor. Do a voice call Mac and tell him, ask him, WTF. Yeah, Mr. Bushido, if you're listening,
maybe Mama Jama.
Bushido, if you're listening, you're more than welcome to hop in. I don't care about the audio from your hospital room. We've lost Mac. We've sent search and rescue, but we don't know how long that's going to take. He may be here. Yes, thank you.
Playing Fortnite, it looks like.
Oh,
but
goodness.
To be honest, like I feel like this generation is not. I mean, not generation, but this decade, this upcoming decade, is not the decade to stop making money.
Right.
And Xbox is prepared. That's why they bought Activision. That's why they have Bethesda. That's why they're um, pretty much making Game Pass Iron Fortress. They're implementing mobile gaming into their ecosystem. They're doing all these things to like stabilize and make sure that their plan is future proof for the recession, for cuts that they have to make eventually. Xbox is doing everything they need to do to make sure they survive. Sony's in a little bit of trouble because they got on the gas games a little late, and it's kind of biting them in the butt. Whereas now the development of their games are even more expensive, and it's just eventually like the balloon's gonna pop. Like from the leaks, we saw that Spider-Man 2 costed $350 million total. Spider-Man 2, the game was like 24 hours long.
That's if you put time into it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's if you put time into it. 9 hours, 10 hours. If you just, beat the game story mode. And it's just like, that's absurd. That is like absolutely bonkers how expensive their projects are becoming. And I see why they're just sticking to sequels, because if they tried to make a new IP, like a new engine and whatnot, it's going to cost way more than what God of War costs, or Ragnarok, or Forbidden West, or Spider-Man 2, So right now they're doing everything they can to like stabilize their position in the market, but it's slowly becoming a losing battle with them, especially if they're going to lose this lawsuit, which they 100% will. I don't know who at Sony decided that was a good idea to make the PlayStation Store the only place for digital games to be bought, but now that's biting them in the ass. And if they lose 7 billion, probably with inflation and everything, it's going to equate more to 10 billion. If they lose $10 billion or $7 billion in a lawsuit, like imagine how many Spider-Man games that is. Imagine how many God of War games that is.
Yeah.
They're not going to have any games. And I know the rumors of a PS Pro 5 Pro are circulating, but at this point, I don't know if they're even gonna go through with it.
I mean, I agree. The what is it? Gamers Nexus did a touch on the so-called leaked specs for the PS5 Pro, and yeah, they're a little ludicrous. Not outside the realm of possibility, but it's not going to be a $500 console. It's going to be more expensive than that. Because we're talking.
The thing is too.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, we're talking about some things that you're not getting outside of a 7900 XTX with AMD.
Yeah.
And we know what
I mean, but it doesn't matter the price that any console is gonna have. It doesn't matter the generation of the console. Like the rule is always the same. Like the publisher makes the company makes the console, and they sell it at a loss. They sell it way cheaper than what it costed. But yeah, it's considering what you just said. Yeah, it's not gonna be 500.
The thing is like, can they even afford it at this point?
yeah.
Not
Obviously,
probably.
they're gonna have to do it at a loss.
Like
And
I don't necessarily think that Sony is going to become Sega. I don't think that Sony is going to become third party. I think that I think that Sony is gonna be having some bumps along the way, but in a certain way, even though it's horrible for Insomniac what happened for all the leaked footage from the Wolverine game, which I didn't see. I have no interest in just seeing leaked footage of anything, of course. I prefer much more to watch it when it's released because it it just spoils all the fun if you see leaked footage, honestly, or like you believe in rumors of the Xbox or PlayStation conference and you start to like, oh my god, it's going to be this or it's going to be that. I prefer to just wait and see. Simple. But like, even though it is horrible for what happened at Insomniac, I think that in a certain way it is it can be a good thing or to have some of that stuff leaked and released to the public because they are going to pay attention to the response of people. And if Sony knows what they are doing and they have brains in terms of trying to make their consumers continue to consume their products, some things are going to change. Just like we saw with those leaks that happened with Xbox. Do you guys remember those archives where people were complaining a lot of stuff? Probably Xbox is going to change some things as well. Like
Yeah.
let's just see what happens because what I'm trying to say here in that situation, I'm trying to say specifically the fucked up idea, in my opinion, which is let's release the next Spider-Man in parts, each part for $50. Why?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Why?
So
I mean,
150.
that
That's what they're saying.
yeah, the like the global edition with everything, like that's so dumb.
oh yeah.
And like of course it is genius if they are trying to make money, of course, but like that's so predatory in my opinion. And if Xbox decides to like, let's do something like this. Fuck you then. I already hate the fact that Xbox said before that we are not going to be using the $70 price tag for our games, and they out of the sun a few Spencer says, you know what? We held as long as we could. It's been $60 for a long time. I hope you enjoy. Yeah, but we are going with 70 right now. Like
Well, you know
that's
why they're doing it, right? You know why they're
money.
doing this three part? Well, of course, money, but they see that people will buy Final Fantasy VII, the remake, in parts. So they
Mm,
realized that people will do that for games that are huge. So why not
mhm.
take the opportunity and destroy and make sure their customer base has to pay within? They have to pay. Now, clearly, unfortunately, I will buy every Final Fantasy VII and every Spider-Man game because that is who I am as a customer for PlayStation.
Simp.
But
Mhm.
there's my point is I'm a big fan of those games. So there's people that are even bigger fans than me. So I can only
Mhm.
imagine like what people would go, what would be the lengths of people would pay for a game like that, mainly when they spent what, 300 and some $1 million on Spider-Man 2, which is sad. I heard you guys talking about it. I do apologize for walking away. It's an emergency situation. But that's my thought on that. Like it's weird. So that's just
Mhm. Mhm.
it makes sense, man. I mean, money talks, man. They're going to take as much money as they can. Unfortunately, it's not consumer friendly, but it's a business at the end of the day. So
Well, I
But I
mean,
mean, there aren't there other ways for them to make money instead of like trying to use a predatory scheme like that? In my opinion,
it is.
like I totally understand. I'm not gonna blame the guys that the people like just like you, Mac, who are going to buy that if they actually use that type of model to sell their big games on Final Fantasy and Spider-Man. I'm not gonna blame you. After all, you are a fan of this, and you are more than entitled to do whatever you want with your money and to have fun, whatever the best way you can. No worries at all. But the problem that I would have with the PlayStation consumer is if they decide to like defend this shit. It's just like, for example, I play Madden. I buy Madden. Do I buy Madden at release? No. because I know that the price that they are putting at release is not comparable to the content that they are giving me for this new game. Am I going to admit that Madden is most of the time shit? Yes, I am. Of course, I am going to be doing that. I'm not gonna be hypocrite saying that Madden is this year's Madden is the best the series has ever been, and la di da and blah blah blah. No, no, no. I'm not gonna be hypocrite about that. So I just hope that PlayStation fans, Spider-Man fans, Final Fantasy fans, it's okay. You can have fun and buy the games using this model. Just always try to think that it should be something better
Well,
and use your think with your wallets in such situations so that we can have some change about it.
we still don't know how far this. We don't know what this model is going to look like. I mean, there's speculation, but how far are they going to go? I mean, are certain
Mhm.
parts of the game, certain modes, are they going to be cornered off and have to be bought separately? Are they going to go as far as to you get 3/4 of the way through the story, and oh here you got to spend another $50, but we'll throw in the multiplayer with the it's just how far is it going to go? And back to what uh, Mac was saying, there is ways to make money. They need to flip the script. They need to break the mold. They need to adapt like Microsoft has done. You need to go outside of that third person action adventure story driven game. You need to jump into different genres. You need to branch out and release the stranglehold you have on your studios to follow passion projects and create more diversity in your portfolio as far as their genres go. It yeah, you
Yeah.
need
So like I want to use an example. Name a PlayStation online game, not Call of Duty, because clearly we know everybody would just say, "Oh, Call of Duty." But name
Yeah,
one online
exclusive.
shooter exclusive to PlayStation, right? What was it? There was the last one I can really think of is
It was on.
Uncharted. Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 had multiplayer, and Lawbreakers. Them are the games I could think of that were the only multiplayer games. And then you had Resistance or something like that. Resistance 3. That was what, PlayStation 3 days.
yeah.
Like
And didn't we have
you're
didn't didn't we have like Killzone as well?
I
Killzone,
don't
the
I
last.
don't yeah, you're talking about Shadow of the Fall, whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
Shadowfall.
I didn't even know. I didn't buy that game till it was like $5 at GameStop.
Yeah, but
So I
like,
have
does it
no
does
idea.
it
I
have
have no
multiplayer?
idea if it even had multiplayer. Clearly, it wasn't good
Mm-hmm.
enough because I've never heard of it, and I played the shit out of multi. I'm sure it did, but
Mm-hmm.
the
Fair enough. Oh
Uncharted,
yeah,
Uncharted was amazing.
destruction of stars.
Whatever. That's a joke. It's it's sad that Uncharted 4 was a decent multiplayer. Now I'm not going to say it compares to like Apex, Call of Duty, Halo, Gears. If you're going to go with the third person or the Division, those games are pretty decent, right? But like Lawbreakers was fine. I thought they did a great job, but nobody supported it like they were supposed to. Like that's why Sony will never have a PvP game. That's the biggest problem I think they have. That their fans do not support something that brings a lot to the table and outside of the big genre games. It sucks that they can't branch off. Like Gears of War literally was the no-name game in 2005. And look what happened. Look what that game did. Bam, now it's one of the biggest things on Xbox. Halo in 2001. Bam, biggest thing. Sony has tried numerous times with Resistance. What was that other Hazel or Have? I can't remember. They've tried so many
Haze.
games.
Don't
yeah,
for-
Haze. They tried
don't
that
forget
game.
Mag.
Y'all remember that? Yeah, they've tried they tried so many games. Like, it's like, why can they not? Why is it so driven over there on PlayStation side that they just have to stick to this single player thing? Now, I don't hate it because like I said, it don't bother me. I will buy God of War. I like that. I like my exclusive games. My Infamous. I wish they'd make another Infamous. Infamous. Hell, another SOCOM. That was the last one I could think. The last one I can remember everybody talked about. Like, because nobody talked about Resistance. Nobody talked about Uncharted 4's online. Saying they didn't talk about Lawbreakers. It was on PC and PlayStation. Not even the PC community didn't talk about it after the first 5 days. So it sucks that like they're just so driven with these single players, and now they're doing this. Oh, we're doing the tells, the tell games storyline where we give you 1/3 of the story every time, and we gotta for the next 5 years we make this game for you. but we make it in branches, and it just sucks. Like I just cannot get behind that. If it's not a huge game, what's the chances of me paying $150 for a game? Like that's a little much. That's reaching, and mainly like something like a single player driven game. It's not like it's something you can play 100 times and enjoy it for 100 times straight. There's just no. If you could do that, you're weird. Like in general, just that's weird. Maybe 2 or 3 times you might enjoy a game, but getting into those like 5th and 6th times, I don't know about all that. So it would get old after a while, and you would move on to something else. So. PlayStation's they're in a tornado right now. They're in a tornado, man. They're burning. There's a bunch of fire trucks in there because they're burning real bad. They need some water because it's something.
Would you
But it's a
say
shit show, man. It's a shit show.
would you consider that they are going to soon enough become like Sega? I don't think so, honestly. I think
No.
I think Sony would sell
always-
them off if the lawsuits go through.
So yeah, 'cause-
Seriously?
and I was here. No, so that lawsuit's what, $7 billion? I'm correct. Am I correct on that? I think somewhere around.
Yes.
I mean, how
7
much?
billion euros.
How much is? Yeah, so
about 10 million USD?
yeah. So
Or
how
10
much?
billion USD?
How much money do they even have to pay that off? I mean, yeah, they could probably get loans. But they already own probably loans. They already probably own $100 million worth of loans. So who's going to give them another 10 billion? Excuse me. I mean, it's who knows? We might see a third party. We might see them sell God of War to some Chinese place and some Chinese developer. Dude, we might get Take-Two or Rockstar making God of War. It's just that's my point though, because Sony's in a shit show right now, man, and I feel bad for anybody that's not a true pony. That's a weirdo. A lot of those like JTech guys and all those weirdo guys that are just like they like hump their PlayStation at night. But I'm talking about the people that actually.
What up, Serix, man? Cozy. Umbra. Toolman.
I haven't talked to Cozy. I haven't talked to Toolman in a while. I haven't talked to a lot of them, huh? Oh, wow. I haven't talked to Cozy in like, yeah. So yeah, but it's gonna be like it's gonna be a show here, man. It's gonna be like we're all front row seats to this thing to see what goes on for the next year and a half, 2 years. Now, like I said, I don't think Sony's going anywhere. They made $19 billion, $20 billion last year, like on paper. I mean, come on, that's. But that was with some type of game, at least Spider-Man coming out, or whatever they had. I forgot God of War Ragnarok for that year, or whatever it was. So I don't know, man. It's going to be tough with no actual exclusive games. Your system's already all sold. Who really is going to buy the next generation? I mean, do they even have the money to push out a next generation console? Do they have enough time? There's a lot to this. So I don't.
Well, if Xbox
It seems like they gotta follow a lot of these contractual agreements.
Yeah.
So seeing that they're tied up to what they have with Marvel, which is part of that leak that we weren't supposed to see, it seems like now in my opinion, now we kind of see why we're getting an influx of Insomniac games versus other studios producing maybe as many games as they are, because they have a contractual agreement. We have to hit this, and within this time period, we cannot slip on Marvel games compared to maybe we need to relax on Naughty Dog or Sony Santa Monica or something like that. And then on top of that, they're trying to figure out how to position themselves properly as a platform as a whole. So how are they going to structure themselves into getting into the mobile market? How are you going to properly find yourself on the PC? We all know that they pretty much have to make a PC launcher. They like it's just they got to do it. So it's just like they have to be so diligent, in my opinion, with their money. And then on top of getting sued, like Vinny brought up and KY brought up, like, I just don't see them moving at all in any sense of the way, the same as Microsoft's moving right now. And in my opinion, this could be like the start all over of indie third party PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? Where that's really kind of all they got until they get some of this stuff, some of this background noise, dampered down.
So what
Yeah,
you're saying,
but,
Ham? What you're saying, Ham, is they're the Xbox of 2013, is what you're saying. So because
Pretty
naturally,
much.
this is what it's almost like a flip flop. 10 years later,
Yeah.
we're here. 10 years later,
that was
it's crazy. Go ahead, Fabio. My bad, buddy.
Well, yeah,
No,
what
no
they
worries,
did
man.
is they,
No worries
I
at
mean,
all.
essentially, like, think about it this way. They started this race. They already had, all these, they had a car full of nitrous and a McLaren, and they got halfway across the United States. You're still working. Xbox was still working. They got about a third of the way through, but PlayStation had an unexpected, let's say they got a crack in the engine about 3/4 through the United States before they got to the end, and now all they can do is sit at the repair shop. That's all they can do. There's nothing else you can do. You just have to sit at the repair shop until they fix it, and you look on your phone and look at the navigation, and you see Microsoft's moving, and you're like, well, they're moving, and they're coming. They're not close in the sense of like console sales, but they figured out all these back roads, and it's working for them quite well while I'm sitting in the waiting room.
It's
That's really what it feels like.
it's really
Remember-
cool
But like,
that you use the
like the
analogy of a
same-
McLaren because
What?
because
Forza.
because they are. I mean, because right now they are living on the nostalgia that we get when we think of the McLaren or the. What was it? Oh, I was thinking of a different car. I was thinking of the DeLorean. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no. See, when Han was talking, I thought what he was going to do is he was going to go to the Dom Toretto. You hit you hit your nitrous too early is what PlayStation did. They hit it way too early.
That's essentially what I was kind of going for.
Yeah, I thought you were going there. I was like, man, is he really going to pull a Fast and Furious Dom Toretto scene of the first ever? I was like, man, he's really going to do it. And then you switched up on me. But you're 100%
I
right.
decided to kind of switch it there about a third of the
You
way
pulled
through.
a McLaren. I was like, that's not right.
Yeah, let's switch it up a little bit.
But it's 100% they did too early. My bad, Fabio. I know you're trying to go, Fabio. We're just all BSing. So.
no worries at all. It's just a situation that momentum is now fully on Xbox and PlayStation is just over there looking, staring, and like wishing. I wish I could be that guy in that situation. But like the same way as Xbox has passed through this once during the Xbox One generation, I still think that Sony can prevail and continue to be PlayStation. PlayStation can continue to be strong somehow. I think that PlayStation needs to change a lot of their models so they can fix their shit. Instead of saying we are only going to put our games on PlayStation and that's it, we saw on those leaks they intend to put their games day one on PC as well, for what I understood. Or at least they are going to invest way more in the PC market. Not just that, they intend to invest more on the mobile market, of course. Other thing that, like, I just thought of a crazy idea here that might be really shit and nobody would be interested in buying, but like, I think that PlayStation needs to adapt their subscription service to be like Game Pass. But since Sony doesn't like to put their really high production games day one on their subscription service, they can, I don't know, use that episodic part 1, part 2, part 3 model that we saw on those leaks on the subscription. Like, we are not gonna put the game available the full game available day one on our subscription. But if you subscribe to us, we are going to give you for free the first episodes of this game over here.
Yeah.
Like, go back to how it was with demos, you know what I mean?
The problem.
Would that work?
I
What do you
think,
guys think it's a shitty idea? It's a crazy thing that I thought right now.
yeah, I mean, yes and no. See, Sony's problem is, I mean, we all have thoughts of grandeur when we start thinking about. I mean, and of course, on Xbox's side, we think about IPs that have been laying dormant for years. But when you look at Sony's side, it's like IPs they stopped, but nothing took their place. We're still living with The Last of Us. We're still living with Spider-Man. We're still living with the first party games. They've got a handful of first party games that they're going forward with, and we're getting remakes and we're getting remasters of them. But what about the SOCOMs? What about the Killzones? What about the Resistance games? Those IPs ended and nothing took their place. If I was to think about first party games that Xbox has and Xbox has nurtured over the last 2 decades, I really have to sit and think about it because the obvious ones come to mind right away. But then 15 minutes later, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this one. And then, oh yeah, I forgot about this one. Because there are so many of them. The Age of Empires, the
And
Flight
like,
Sims, the Gears of War, the Halos, it's just there's so many that hit.
and those are not all IPs that they have available. Xbox has, even before Xbox had acquired, like in 2018, Xbox made the announcements of their 5 brand new studios in Ninja Theory, Playground Games, Dead Labs, Composure Games, and The Initiative. Before that, Xbox already had a really good range of IPs that they owned. But the thing is, Xbox has a fucking tendency to just not use all of their IPs. So the thing that when it comes to Xbox, yes, they have nurtured way more legacy IPs than PlayStation, in my opinion. Yes, that's a fact. And there are diverse games that they have, but they have a ton of IPs that are well known, that are loved by studios that before they became part of Microsoft, they used to work on those games. They were games that everyone adored and that Microsoft is not using. Like, I think that's the situation that we need to that we need to always think that Xbox is doing well with in terms of IPs. Yes, but the funny thing is that these are it doesn't seem to be even a scratch on the surface of the amount of IPs that they have, honestly.
Yeah.
You
Eh,
know where I'm going with this, right?
yeah.
You
I know.
know,
I know.
mhm,
It's
you know.
just
Of course, you know.
yeah. It's just it's just baffling to see the an industry flip like this one is flipped. And going back to the whole Sega thing, I don't know. I was into gaming at the time, and there was just not enough games out there to drive the Saturn. And a lot of that we've seen that have come out in court documents because of this whole ABK merger. That a lot of that had to do with Sony. They took Sega out of the gaming space as far as hardware goes, just because there was a lot of games that you could get on uh, the PlayStation that you just couldn't get on Sega. And we're seeing there's a lot of games that you can get in other places that you just can't get on the PlayStation. It's a total flip in the industry, and it's going to be a very, very interesting remainder to this generation, I think. Uh, can't wait to see what happens. But I think we've beat that dead horse for an hour now. So
Just one thing, like, did you guys get like, were you guys curious about the media outlets just simply like right now saying that we are not going to share anything about the Insomniac leaks. But when Microsoft got leaks and when Rockstar got leaked, oh my god, post this right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the media bias. You see it time and time again in favor of Sony and poop on Xbox. That's just, it drives clicks from both sides of the aisle.
Mhm.
When you talk about an individual developer, people, you do get a bias there. Well, I don't really care about the developer or that game franchise, and so I'm just not even going to worry about it.
I love how Tom Warren showed his ass today. He was just letting people know. Excuse me, what's the difference between this and Capcom and
Exactly.
Capcom and what is it called and GTA 6? Like, he just repeatedly was asking that question because I mean that's what a lot of us want to know. Like hold on a second. Like, I get like being sad about the development and whatnot, like having their stuff get leaked. Like, I think anybody in their right mind understands that. But at the same time, we're sitting here laughing at GTA, and they literally had the pretty much the exact same title to some of the news reports: hacked, ransomware. And it's just like, we're laughing at GTA, but hold on a second, it's Insomniac, and now we feel terrible.
Right.
Like, come on, like either feel terrible about it all, or just keep it a buck and report like you're supposed to. Because in my opinion, they're like I don't know what. And David Jaffe spoke on this super late last night. He was just like, when you're in sports and there's like rumors of a trade or any type of like big rumor that leaks out that's not supposed to be there, what happens? Sports reporters report the hell out of it. When there's some sort of corruption in the government, which you can give or take some of that, because some of that feels like it gets overlooked, right?
Right.
But it's starting to feel that way here, where it's like, hey, like, you're giving a lot of air to people that already had conspiracy theories.
Yep.
And when you purposely go out of your way to laugh at one, but then rub the booty of somebody that you like and say, oh, nothing's wrong over here, it looks very Republican Democrat-y, to where it's like, yo, your squad just did something messed up, but you're giving them a hand in trying to put the other ones in jail. Like, hold on a second.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you see your boy steal something, right? But then, like, you see somebody else steal something, you tattle on the other guy, but not your boy. Kind of
Exactly.
situation. Yeah. Which is clearly you're not gonna. It's like the mouth who feeds you, right? You're not gonna do nothing to the mouth that feeds you. Insomniac feeds these guys probably stuff. That's probably why it costs $315 million. They're probably giving people money on the download. They always say Xbox people get money, but wouldn't it be surprised that like something like that ever happened? Because this is just baffling. And listen, I listen to Kind of Funny. Like, you don't know me enough because that, but I tell everybody I listen to Kind of Funny. But the other day when they like avoided the whole situation, I'm just like, this is the most like baffling thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, this they've always said stuff about other people getting hacked, and come on, it's sorry. If Insomniac would have just paid the $2 million like a good boy they are, they might have not got hacked. But it's sad that they're these higher up IGNs and all these other companies that are like they're just acting like it didn't happen. It's like, what?
Even OpenCritic.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's like, what, why? Like, this is something this is huge. Like, and talking, they need to talk about this because it looks biased. You look like you're literally just one-sided, and it's like you said, Republican Democrat situation. You vote Democrat, you're gonna tell Republican to fuck off, right? That's PlayStation to Xbox, same thing. If you're a PlayStation guy, you're gonna just tell Xbox to fuck off. It's just what it is. Why the fuck are these gaming podcasts and people that are supposed to be, reviewers and talk about gaming, why are they so one-sided? Like, it's stupid. And I didn't see the Tom Warren thing. I'm gonna go look at this later. I didn't know No, I've been so busy today, so I didn't get to see that. So that's crazy. So
Well,
I mean,
you all know my standpoint on it. I try to be as unbiased as possible, but when one
Yeah.
side has repeatedly
You
been
do?
giving you, yeah, I do. But
we seen your yard. We've got a bunch of Xbox signs up there. Stop yelling.
I
So.
mean, are you sure
but
about that?
when over the last
You might want to rephrase that.
over the last decade, though, when one side is repeatedly giving you all your fuel for your content, it makes you look biased. So,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, there's an ambulance going down the road, and my dogs are going nuts. So,
We can hear them.
yeah.
They're saying Xbox. We hate ponies. Xbox. We hate ponies.
But I will say this, and then
Hey, gaming, great again.
I'll say this, and then I'll mute myself so you all can talk without the dogs. But
So we can
we
kill
can't
each
hear 'em.
other.
yeah, well, they've quieted down. Apparently, it's past now. But I do want to really touch on this leak. So I saw a lot of people on social media that were bashing what they saw from Wolverine, and I just want to tell all them dumb fucks out there that were bashing pre-alpha assets. Okay, every game, even your most beloved game, begins its life looking like what we saw in the Insomniac leak. That's just
What is it? What does it look like? A stick figure? I don't know. I haven't
no,
seen it, so I
it's
don't
not
know.
it's not a stick figure. They're
That would be
basically
so fun. A Wolverine stick figure.
it's just basically basic animations, and it's just pre-alpha assets of Wolverine. It totally
Yeah.
not polished, and so yeah, it's what I expected to see this early in development, and especially something that is not coveted and on a personal hard drive somewhere and not on the share drive, which is what this was all gotten from. So
So a
yeah,
buddy of mine texted me earlier and said there might be a Venom game. Is that true? Like
yes,
For 2025, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
really?
like a Miles Morales game.
It's actually
I mean-
supposed to be before Wolverine comes out.
Before Wolverine? What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of confusing because maybe it's meant to be a surprise.
What is it gonna be? What is it gonna be? Carnage? He's gonna probably fight Carnage or something. That's all I can think of. Whatever.
Yeah, from Spider-Man 2, right? The fire guy.
Yeah. No, Carnage, the red guy. He's
No,
like
the fire guy. He ends up being Carnage, or he has the Carnage
oh, okay.
symbiote.
Hey,
Yeah,
fire
he took the
guy-
other symbiote in that side battle.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to throw us off a little bit there, but I just, like I said, I have not paid attention to. I've not turned my Twitter on in 2 days, so outside of my messages that pop up, so I've just been really busy.
What?
So
no Twitter in 2 days. No Twitter in 2
Anyway,
days.
bye.
Seriously?
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I
Wow.
don't care about it like you guys do. I don't pay attention to it like I used to. I've been so freaking busy with life. Life is
Yeah.
crazy right now.
Life does take precedence.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Tom Warren, Xbox VR is now a reality, sort of. You can get the Xbox Cloud Gaming. It is available on MetaQuest VR headsets. So,
Yep.
basically playing
I've tried that.
on a big screen right in front of your face. It could be cool.
I've tried it. It's all
Fun?
right. It's Game Pass on a big screen that's low resolution, so it was
high latency.
2017
Yeah.
Xbox all over again.
it I believe or at least when I was playing it, I don't know if it's any further now, but it was in beta when I was playing it, and it definitely felt like beta
Okay.
because there was times where I was turning on a game and the cloud thing would turn on and it'd tell you the queue, but it didn't really tell me the queue. It would just the game would kind of turn on. I'd hear some music in the background and then it just freeze, and I had to deal with that. For Starfield, I had to deal with it 7 times, which that was annoying.
Yeah.
And with Remnant, I didn't have to deal with it at all. So it's just your common expectation when it comes to a beta, so something that's in beta.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was total. I think the game's going to be great. I mean, we're talking about Insomniac. We're talking about another beloved Marvel property like Wolverine. I mean, there's as many rabid Wolverine fans out there as there is for any superhero. So,
Yeah, and Ham, real quick, I got a question. How good is your internet?
Oh, my internet's great. I got a
gig.
The gig, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a gig and look at it; it's still doing that, right? It's that just the cloud is just not. I'm sorry, I just don't think cloud is. We're not far enough in the future for it.
Yeah, we're just not quite there yet, and that's why like I can't take things like the Portal serious. Like, and I actually said it in my post when I was talking about my experience with my VR headset. Is that like it's pretty cool to have, and I'm happy that it was a piece of a purchase instead of a purchase all alone like the Portal is.
Yeah,
Like the Portal, you buy it and that's all you got. But like with this Oculus Quest or 2 or 3, it's just like a piece. I mean, it's kind of like, you know what they say in that movie, never go full. You know what?
yeah.
Like I feel like with the Portal, they kind of went full, and Stadia kind of went full, where like a lot of companies need to have like if you're gonna do any type of hardware, like this is a good add-on piece, but it shouldn't be the meat and potatoes of any sort of product.
correct. So, what does BAFTA stand for?
That's the BAFTA Awards.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what the acronym actually stands
The
for.
British Association something awards.
I don't know either. But anyway, yeah, Hi-Fi Rush, monstrous awards, 6. Hi-Fi Rush, animation, artistic achievement, audio achievement, family, music, and new intellectual property. Wow, that's big. And Starfield got 3. Yeah, it's wow.
I wonder if they had the chance to speak.
Or they wait until after there and announce the DLC that's coming finally. So
Right.
all right,
It's Shattered Space, isn't it?
yeah, it's Shattered Space.
Yeah, apparently they're gonna add like vehicles, new cities. It's gonna be a pretty big expansion.
I'd like to
Supposed to be like every 6 weeks after the start of 2024.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
ongoing like DLC.
Did anybody else find it odd that there wasn't an alien race in Starfield?
I think that's gonna be part of the DLC.
Yeah, it's like we went out there.
I hope they're not. I hope they're not like the aliens from Scary Movie 3, where they pee in your mouth or pee from their fingers. Excuse me.
Oh my
ooh.
fucking
Yeah,
god.
I forgot about
Yeah, where did that come from? Goodness.
Yeah, that was something.
Woo!
Well, I'm just saying. I hate Starfield. By the way, Ham. I can't stand the game. I don't know. I can't justify it. So I just feel like everything's bad on it.
I
I don't
know.
know.
Your review, your year of games in review says otherwise, sir. You've logged some Starfield time.
I put 24 hours into it, over a little bit over 24 hours, and I still couldn't enjoy it. I tried so hard. I just literally.
That's so sad.
the amount of time I put in Starfield. I could learn a new language.
Yeah, exactly. So
This game, yeah.
Tencent has shut down another AAA multiplayer studio.
Who could have guessed?
Yep. Team Kaju doesn't appear to exist anymore.
Actually, what?
Kaju.
Wait, how does he write? How does he write it?
It's Kaiju. Kaiju.
Ah, kaiju.
Oh,
Kaiju.
kaiju. Ah.
No, it's because like caju is a sort of nut here in Brazil.
Ah.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh. The studio was co-founded by former Halo 4
No, no,
designer
no.
Scott
Actually,
Warner.
like no, no. Actually,
You mean cashew?
yeah, yeah. Caju is a nuts that comes from a fruit. So like
Oh,
is the
gosh.
cashew.
Okay.
You know, you wouldn't know who Imagine Dragon is, right? Do you, Fabio? I just Fabio.
Out of Sunday, out of the Sunday, you were just.
I just want to
Oh
know
my
if you know.
God.
Okay,
Do
okay.
you-
Y'all are making some weird shit up. Like,
right?
Okay.
Oh, gosh. Okay,
No, I'm
and
just saying.
rest in peace, James
To pronounce
McCaffrey.
it right, goddamn.
James,
Yeah.
James McCaffrey,
Oh,
the
yeah.
voice actor for Max Payne, has passed away.
What was the deal with that? Why were people saying it was like fake news?
Oh, well, probably
Yeah, because
because
people just-
TMZ's who confirmed it, and we all know what TMZ is famous for. So,
I don't know. I haven't watched TMZ in forever, so I couldn't tell you.
yeah, well, it's they're in the conversation definitely when you start talking about fake news. TMZ. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. I'll look it up later to see if it actually is real. But yeah, anybody else interested? Apparently, it's going around. James McCaffrey, voice actor of Max Payne, has passed away. He has died at 65 after a cancer battle. So,
No, but it sucks. I'll tell you
yeah,
that.
it does suck. Yes, it kind of makes me want to go back and just because that was one of the best parts of the original Max Payne, was the story and the voice acting and just the whole anything revolving around the story.
Yeah. So
the sound and the voice.
So you're not
was
gonna hear
amazing.
weird, well, weird stuff about it. My mom, she don't play. She hasn't played video games since I was probably in the '90s, maybe early 2000s. And she called me today, and she goes, "Hey, do you know? Remember that game Max Payne?" I'm like, "Yeah, what about it?" She goes, "You know the guy that voiced him died, right?" I said, "Yeah, I know." She goes, "Isn't that the game where you had to follow a blood trail with a baby crying in the background?" And I'm like, "How do you remember such darkness of the game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's it." I'm like, she goes, "I hate that game." She goes, "I'm not saying I don't hate the guy that did it." She goes, "But that game's fucked up." And I'm like,
gosh.
okay. It's like, how'd she remember something from like 20 years ago that she knows barely anything about? But it's like, she's like, "I just don't like the baby crying and you're following a blood trail. That's just not right."
Wow.
I'm like, "I have no idea, Mom." I said they're remastering those 1 and 2. I said there's rumors to be a remastered coming soon and like fully enhance the game. She goes, "Wow, that's crazy. I'm surprised they're bringing something like that back nowadays." So I was like, "Wow." I'm like, "Why are you?" She just randomly called me today about that shit. I was like, "What? That's weird." It's just something you don't get every day with my mom. Talk about video games.
Wow, that is a pretty cryptic
Okay.
part of a game to remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Thimber says, "Fun fact: Max Payne 3 is set in Brazil. Max Payne 3 is my most underrated 360 game ever. I love it. The multiplayer was fun. The story was amazing. Gameplay was amazing. They had the mod.
Is that in São Paulo or Rio de Janeiro? I don't remember. I just remember the classic
it was
phrase
São Paulo.
from the beginning of the game. Like
Bro.
I just remember the classic phrase from the beginning of the game. Like, whoa.
Dude, when they made, I was like so weird. Did you remember the multiplayer? Like you can actually like slow mo in multiplayer with other people, and I'm like, it was like Rockstar. Just I'm telling you that was like another breed of Rockstar, man. They would make bangers. I know Rockstar only made 3. They didn't make 1 and 2, but like that multiplayer and that campaign and everything just was like, I'm telling you, it was perfect, dude. That game was amazing.
Yeah, it was. I loved all the Max Payne games. Played the first 2.
Same.
I played the first 2 originally on PC and finished them. I was totally consumed with that game, and you don't know how fun slow-mo is until you do it with a mouse. That shit is point-on accuracy when you go into slow mo. I'm sorry, they called it bullet time. Bullet time was the term used back then.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it
Yeah.
was an amazing game, an amazing series. Damn it, kind of made me want to go back and play it. Is the first one available in the Xbox store? Is it backwards compatible and all ready to go?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it
backwards
is.
compatible. 1,
It
2,
is.
and 3 are.
Ooh.
I have the disc for all 3 of them.
Oh,
Oh wow.
wow. Yeah, that's
Hey, Mr. Disc guy.
Mr. Disc Guy. Yeah. Speaking
So what
of,
you're saying is you're not going to buy a PlayStation Slim? Is what you're saying? Sorry, just curious.
so
What do I need that for?
speaking,
I was being a smart ass because the disc tray,
speaking
so
of which,
overpriced.
speaking of
What's up?
which, there's been an addendum to your software rights when you buy a disc. They are both stating that when you buy a physical copy, that legally you cannot sell that physical copy to somebody else. That
Isn't that
you're
cool?
right. It's like, wow. I mean,
I'm letting them borrow it for $40.
that's crazy. I mean, you could take that into other things too. Like, can I never sell a car or anything that I've ever had? I mean, that just makes no sense. Even the video card I bought used off eBay, and EVGA still said I had 320 days left on my 3-year warranty, and I took advantage of that RMA. Yeah. Yeah, that's nuts.
Oh, no, man. It's
you
pretty
don't-
cool.
You don't
Well,
own
yeah.
anything these days. We're all just borrowing it. We're all just renting our lives. But
Renting my body.
yeah, renting my body, baby. But yeah, last
That's a
on.
song?
No, I just made it up. I just added. Last on the topic list. So Eliza P. developer came out and spoke about the enormous benefits of launching
Good for him.
day one on Game Pass. And yeah, I'm a Game Pass subscriber, and I'm sure all of you are too. And so yeah, it is great to have Game Pass because of getting games that you normally wouldn't play. But what's the risk? And some games have skyrocketed because of that. And he is saying that the biggest advantage of releasing day one on Game Pass is that you have an instant community. Yeah, it was, and actually Xbox was.
Stop it, KY. Stop it. Mr. James Ryden told me that developers don't like and publishers
They hate it.
They hate it. So
They hate it with all
I'm
their
gonna need you to
soul.
I'm gonna need you to run this episode back and get to redacting.
No, I will not redact anything. The Liza
This
P
is
developer even goes on to explain that the marketing campaigns for Liza P were actually ran by Xbox for them, and that they had no part in it other than giving over the assets to do the advertisements. That's right. Sounds like day one on Game Pass that's a win-win, baby. And because of the benefits and the extra, immediately DLC and a sequel for Liza P have already been announced and are already in the works. But I mean, come on. We're not talking about every game that releases day one in Game Pass. Liza P, there was hype behind it, and we were just thought it was a benefit to get it in Game Pass, right? I mean, I was hyped for it already. Although I haven't played it because it's too hard. Bob doesn't.
Vinny hated it.
Yeah, Bob
I
doesn't
didn't
like
like
Souls.
it. I
Bob,
stopped halfway through.
I don't like Souls type games. Other than
Vinny couldn't spam on it. That's why he didn't like it. Sorry.
Yeah. But we're going hour and 25 minutes on the episode. Then it's about time to wrap it up. Everybody's got lives to get to, games to play, and lives to live. We'll start with the outros.
Lives
Mr.
of P.
Yeah, and Liza P. did not like. Mr. Fabio Amarin, you let everybody know where they can find you
Yo.
at?
Well, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. You can find me not just here on the Gameside Live podcast. You can find me on the XPN Network YouTube channel. You can find me also on Twitter as FPOMarine97. If you don't know how to write that, it's on the screen. And you can find me on Xbox as Buffon8. Thank you so much.
And to our esteemed guest, Mr. HamSolo, please plug yourself. Let everybody know where they can find you at, sir.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you guys for allowing me to come on to this podcast with you. You can find me on Twitter at HamSolo05Gaming, but I do most of my content and stuff like that for YouTube on the TSWS Gaming YouTube channel. Stands for They Said We Said. But yeah, go check us out over there. We do content like 3 to 4 times a week. I had a really fun show yesterday with Matt, K, Mega, and Loke, and tomorrow I got my episode Behind Them Sticks, which I hit up this fool KY Bob to be on the show
shit.
Behind Them Sticks about 2 years ago, and he just responded to me
Ah, no.
like
let, me,
on Monday.
let me tell you something about Bobby. You can text him. He will not respond until a week or so later.
True.
Yours is the record, though. He's horrible at answering the phone, believe me.
So
2 years.
okay.
Brad.
I got to defend myself here. So
There's no defending yourself. Stop it.
I followed HamSolo, okay, a long time ago, and I thought, well,
Seems to be the case.
I thought about me and the panel thought it would be really cool to get him on the show, and so I checked Twitter because I don't. Some
Did you?
people,
No,
yeah,
just-
some people don't. You can't message them unless they follow you back. And so I went to his profile and I was like, oh, cool, yeah, he did follow me back, so I can send him a message. And so I clicked on the message button and I started typing a message out, and then I realized there was already a message up there from him, and I'm like, oh, cool, he wants to, Behind Them Sticks. And then I looked at
Oh, nice. When was this?
yeah, well, nice. When was this? I looked at it, and it was January of 2022. And I'm like, oh my goodness, next month, that'll be 2 years. Why did I never see this message? And of course, immediately I start erasing the message that I had started to type, and I start groveling. I cannot believe I just saw this. I'm so sorry. I was not ignoring you. I never actually knew it came in. So, yeah, Vinny had an idea why it might have happened, but I'm sure it was just. I'm sure it was me just overlooking things like Mac claims that I do all the time.
You do.
Ugh.
I'll get Bushido in here, too. He'll prove it, too.
Oh my
Ham,
goodness.
did you keep that spot available for him after all these years?
Gosh, it's horrible.
He's trying to wait until I
Every week, he's
become
like,
a fan
hey.
of something else.
He's
Yeah.
like, hold on, you guys. They're like, we need 3, but we got to save one for Bobby just in case. He's
Yeah.
like, show.
It's horrible. So,
Some asshole shit, bro. Some asshole shit.
not true, not true. That's not me. That's not what I'm about. But on that note, MacBound, sir, where can people find you? MacBound, Spider
just-
Mac.
Spider Mac everywhere. So pretty much just all over the board. So, and Ham, thanks for coming on and having us. Having you on the show. It was nice.
Thank you
talked
very
to you.
much.
I've talked to you at parties, clearly, but this is the first time we've been on it. No, we weren't on a show together with Umbra. So, but yeah, thanks for showing up, man.
Absolutely, definitely.
Awesome.
Hope to hear from you guys again.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course. Of course.
Hopefully, it doesn't take 2 years.
No. No, I'm sure it won't. You're on the radar now. You're stuck.
All right.
You so
I'll hold
Vinny.
you to it.
You so Vinny, where can people find you at, sir?
Uso Vinny on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, everything.
Everything. All right.
And bingo nights every Friday night with Bushido.
Bingo. Bingo. I love bingo. Why have I not ever been invited to bingo?
You have to be over a certain age.
Because you don't answer the message until 2 years later. That's why.
That's just horrible. That's horrible.
That's crazy. $400,000 and you can't have a ringtone. That's crazy.
Oh my
That is
God.
crazy.
There you go.
Rich people don't have
Christmas gift yet.
Okay.
Hey, rich people don't have ringtones. I see. That's crazy.
Yeah, as always, this is your host, KY Bob of the Game Set Live podcast, wrangling this band of misfits week in and week out, trying to keep them in line, which I fail at horribly, but that's what y'all love about me, right? You can catch this show on YouTube every Wednesday. We may be going back to our normal time, 9 o'clock on Thursday nights, if I do get a transfer of shifts at work, which I'm hoping I do, so things can get a little bit back to normal. You can catch the audio version of this podcast the next day, and therefore on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Pocket Casts, wherever you get your podcasts. And or you can watch me suck at gaming here on YouTube with the gameplay in the background, which I'm surprised nobody mentioned. Nobody even pointed out that I missed some very easy headshots. I'm sure you did. You just didn't. Oh, if Bushido was here, he would have called it out right away. He'd have been like, Bob, God, man, he was 3 feet from you and you shot him in the shoulder. He pointed it out right away. But anyway, everybody, have a good week. Game on. Be careful and know that you all are appreciated. Have a good night.
Oh yeah, and
appreciate it.
Above all else,
Oh.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh yeah. Well,
Merry Christmas.
Wow.
oh my
Rich people don't even have Christmas. Jesus Christ, it's all over the
That's
place.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and we will see you next week. Good night.
Later, you guys.